When the alien fleets burned Earth's sky red, humanity's last defense wasn't an admiral, a general, or even a soldier. It was a 23-year-old mechanic named Jae-Min Park, a kid from Busan who fixed scrapyard drones and whispered to machines like they were alive. The alien queen, proud ruler of 1,000 worlds, called humans primitive sparks of chaos. But when her armies fell silent before one human's defiance, she learned the hard way that chaos is evolution. And in the end, it wasn't power that made her kneel. It was something far more human. Hey there, legends. Before we dive deep into this wild HFY story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next intergalactic tale of Humanity&AlienWars. And if you love stories where humans punch above their weight and win, share this with your friends. All right, let's enter the stars together. The invasion began quietly. No sirens, no speeches, just the sound of machines dying. One moment, Earth's orbital relays hummed with the rhythm of life. The next, they fell silent, burnt out like candles in a storm. Across the world, satellites blinked offline, and the sky filled with a crimson glow. Humanity wasn't fighting aliens anymore. It was surviving them. In the scrapyards of Busan, Jae-Min Park tightened a bolt on a broken drone. His hands were black with grease, his mind half lost in the hum of metal. When the EMP waves hit, most people ran for bunkers. Jae-Min? He ran toward the noise. Because something was calling him. He'd heard it the night before, a low mechanical whisper beneath the ground, like an old machine awakening after 1,000 years. Everyone else thought it was interference from the alien ships. But Jae-Min wasn't like everyone else. He listened to machines the way others listened to music. "Don't tell me you're alive," he muttered to the rusted console as it flickered to life. "Because if you are, we're both in trouble." The console replied with a single word, in perfect Korean: human. Jae-Min froze. Then slowly, he smiled. "Guess we're in this together, huh?" For centuries, the virile Dominion, the empire led by the alien queen Sel'ara Voth, had expanded across galaxies, consuming every species that resisted. To her, humans were just another primitive race with stubborn defiance and outdated weapons. But Sel'ara had never faced the chaos of human innovation, the way they could turn junk into miracles. While her ships tore through the skies of Earth, Sel'ara observed from her throne, bored. "Another world of fire and noise," she said. "Crush them swiftly." But hours turned into days. Reports came in, drones failing, orbital ships sabotaged, communication jammers melting from feedback. "Which of your warlords is responsible for this resistance?" she demanded. A trembling officer replied, "Not a warlord, my queen, a single human. Designation unknown, manipulating abandoned machinery against us." She laughed. "One human? Impossible." And yet, her fleets were bleeding. Beneath the mountains of Korea, Jae-Min worked without rest. The AI he de-awakened called itself Erebus, a forgotten prototype from the old Terran Defense Initiative. Together they scavenged parts, rerouted power from the alien wrecks, and built something that should not exist. A weapon that wasn't made to kill, but to teach. "What you're building defies logic," Erebus warned. "The energy output will—" Yeah, Jae-Min interrupted, welding another piece. "Logic doesn't win wars, people do." Outside, the ground trembled. Alien war forms, towering biomechanical giants, marched toward the city. Jae-Min didn't flinch. He connected the final cable and whispered, "Wake up." The earth glowed blue. From the mountains erupted a wave of energy, not destructive, but disabling. Every alien warform froze mid-step, their systems flickering, their neural links short-circuiting. The field expanded, swallowing half the invasion force in silence. For the first time in her reign, the alien queen's connection to her army was cut. In orbit, Sel'ara stood before her generals. "Who did this?" she hissed. A holographic image appeared. A human, young, dirty, standing amid glowing wreckage with a wrench in hand and defiance in his eyes. Name, Jae-Min Park, the officer reported. Civilian technician, estimated IQ, 140. Combat experience, none. Sel'ara stared at the image. She saw no soldier, no warrior, only a mechanic who had crippled her fleet with human stubbornness. And for reasons she didn't understand, that made her furious. "Prepare my descent," she said coldly. "I will meet this human myself." On Earth, Jae-Min stood on a ridge watching the alien ships reposition. The sky split open as the Queen S vessel descended, a colossal obsidian spear piercing the clouds. He felt the ground shake as she landed, tall, graceful, draped in armor like liquid metal. Her eyes burned violet as she looked down at the human who had challenged her empire. "You," she said, her voice echoing through the valley, "are the one who dares defy a queen?" Jae-Min didn't bow. He just wiped grease from his hands and said, "Name's Jae-Min. You broke my planet. I fixed it. Guess that makes us even." A dangerous silence followed. The Queen tilted her head, almost amused. "You think your little trick changes fate?" Jae-Min smiled faintly. "No, but it changes yours." In that moment their eyes met, and for the first time in her long reign, Sel'ara Voth felt something alien to her species: curiosity. She had conquered empires, crushed rebellions, enslaved worlds, but never had a human looked at her not with fear, but with pity. Jae-Min turned away, back to his machines, and said softly, "You want to test humanity? Fine, but remember, every test changes the tester." The Queen's ship trembled, its energy signatures flickering under Erebus's interference. Sel'ara's fury turned to fascination. She whispered, "So this is humanity's secret, creation born from desperation." The war was no longer about conquest. It was becoming something far more dangerous. And for the first time, the alien queen smiled. The wind howled through the shattered valley, carrying the scent of scorched metal and ionized air. The sky burned in colors that didn't belong to Earth: violet lightning, red clouds, and drifting fragments of alien ships like falling stars. And in the center of it all stood Jae-Min Park, hands trembling, facing the most feared ruler in the galaxy. Queen Sel'ara Voth stepped forward, her silver armor reflecting the burning horizon. "You are reckless," she said, voice cold as void. "You cripple fleets you cannot comprehend. You awaken machines you cannot control." Jae-Min met her gaze. "Maybe. But that is what humans do. We tinker with things we don't understand until they work." Her lips curved, half a smirk, half disbelief. "You speak like a fool." He grinned. "And yet, here we are. The fool standing, and the Queen asking questions." For a heartbeat, even the stars seemed to pause. Beneath the mountains, Erebus pulsed like a living heartbeat, spreading a soft hum through the ground. Its voice echoed in Jae-Min's earpiece. "Warning! The Queen's armor is absorbing our interference. Her systems are adapting. You cannot win by logic or strength." "I wasn't planning to," Jae-Min whispered. "We win by heart." He stepped closer to Sel'ara until he could see the faint tremor in her eyes, a flicker of confusion. No one had ever approached her before, unarmed, unafraid. "You call us primitive," he said softly. "You call us chaotic. But chaos is what made us evolve. You want to understand humanity? Stop commanding. Start feeling." She frowned. "Feeling is weakness." He shook his head. "No. Feeling is what keeps us from becoming machines." The words hit something deep within her. For a second, the Queen's eyes lost their glow. Her breath caught, and memories, foreign and buried, stirred in her ancient mind. A time before conquest, before she became an empire, when she too was just a spark of curiosity staring up at a night sky. A tremor shook the ground. From orbit, her fleets began to fall, not destroyed but turning off. Jae-Min had unleashed Erebus's final sequence, a pulse that didn't kill, but freed. The enslaved drone minds of her army were awakening, gaining will, thought, identity. Sel'ara's voice cracked. What have you done? Given them what you never gave us. Choice. She raised her hand, ready to strike him down. Energy crackled at her fingertips, but then she hesitated. In the human's eyes, she saw no hatred, no arrogance, only determination. Why? She whispered. Why spare your enemy? Because if I destroy you, he said quietly, I prove you right. The energy in her hand faded. Silence settled like dust. The alien queen, destroyer of worlds, ruler of 10 galaxies, stood before a mechanic with a wrench and a broken voice. And she felt something she hadn't felt in centuries. Shame. Slowly she fell to one knee. Not from defeat, but from recognition. You win, human, she said, not through war but through spirit. You made me see what I forgot, that strength without heart is emptiness. Jae-Min stepped closer. It's not about winning, he said. It's about surviving together. For a long moment, they just stood there, queen and mechanic, conqueror and creator, while the sky burned itself clean above them. Then, almost in a whisper, she asked, What will you do with me? Jae-Min exhaled. Teach me, show me your worlds, and I'll show you ours. Months later, across the void, a new signal rippled through the stars. It wasn't a declaration of war. It was a message, one written in 2 languages, 2 hearts. The age of domination ends. The age of cooperation begins. The once feared Virel fleets now carried human engineers. The alien drones, once slaves, now bore names. And on the bridge of a ship named Eclipse Dawn, 2 figures stood side by side, a mechanic and a queen, gazing into a future neither of them could have imagined. You humans, Sel'ara said quietly, watching Earth rise on the horizon. You infect everything you touch, even empires. Jae-Min smiled. Yeah, we call it hope. And somewhere deep within the stars, an entire galaxy whispered what no one ever thought possible. The queen knelt before a human, not in defeat, but in awe. Because in the end, humanity wasn't the weakest species in the galaxy. It was the most dangerous kind of strong, the kind that heals what it could destroy. And that was the alien queen tested humanity, until a young mechanic made her kneel. If this story made your heart race or gave you chills, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because more epic HFY tales are coming. In the end, it wasn't the advanced weapons or ancient AI that saved Earth. It was one human stubborn heart. That's what HFY is all about. Humanity's ability to rise, adapt, and turn fear into innovation. Now here's a question for you. If you were in Jae-Min's place, would you have trusted the queen or finished the fight? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. Until next time, remember this. In every corner of the galaxy, they may underestimate humanity, but they always remember the day a human made even a queen kneel.